The next postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Tonight against Orlando, Franz Wagner of the Magic. Excellent game with 28 points. The Knicks were down 20 at the half. Jalen Brunson, before he appeared to tweak his right ankle, up and good for 2 of his 30. Knicks within 9, but they would get no closer. Jalen Suggs on Orlando's next possession with a key 3. And the Knicks lose for the first time all year at home as the Magic win it 124-107. Great to have you with us here, Bill Pidto, along with Wally Szczerbiak. You talked about Orlando. You were concerned about Orlando. You've been talking about them while we were watching the game, before we were watching the game. They're big, they're physical, and the Knicks just did not get it going, especially in the first half. The Knicks led 2-0, and that was it the rest of the night in terms of lead.
Listen, it's the mindset of a competitive team. This is a team that is good. They're young. They're hungry. They want to make noise in the playoffs. They saw the Knicks' incredible offensive numbers for their last few games, and they said to themselves, we have been physical with this team. The Knicks have had battles with this team. For the last 2 years, it has not been fluid basketball. It has been a war when they go to when these two teams play, complaining to the officials, a lot of banging, a lot of holding, a lot of grabbing. It's a big, strong team, and they impose their physical will on the Knicks. Knicks are going to have to learn that when their offense is humming, they're scoring 130. There are going to be some teams that come in here and they try to take some cheap shots at them, tried to get them off their game, took them off their spots. Orlando had a great game plan. They executed and got a big-time win here at the Garden.
So the Knicks now 7-1 on the year at home, 5-1 at home during this homestand. One more game left on this homestand Friday when Miami comes to town. We'll see about Jalen Brunson in terms of his availability for Friday. The rebounding. Knicks have dominated that aspect of play during this winning streak, but tonight Orlando outboarded the Knicks 49-37.
Orlando's big at every position. There were a lot of mismatches on the floor. Orlando took advantage of them. They're not a great outside three-point shooting team, but they will beat you up in the paint. And Mitchell Robinson was in this game, too. He came back after yesterday. So it just goes to show you that at every position, this Orlando team has guys that are not afraid of contact. They're going to go after those boards. They know the Knicks are a really good rebounding team. Now, the Knicks were coming off a back-to-back. So that is always tough when you're playing against a young, hungry team like the Magic. The Knicks were at home, though, and this team came in on a mission to send a message to the Knicks that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the East. The couple teams that I think are going to be the most formidable foes for the Knicks in the East are the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic.
Why the Magic?
Because of their wings. I said it in the pregame. Banchero didn't even play the second half. He was an all-star last year, tremendous player. And Franz Wagner is a big-time problem. That guy can guard anyone in the league, and he is tough to defend with his size and his athleticism.
Orlando leads the league in free throw attempts per game at 32.5. Tonight they took 33 shots from the line and made 28. You see the rest of the numbers. Orlando wins at 124-107. Orlando is now 5-5. Desmond Bane was acquired in the offseason. Many think that Orlando's going to be a contender. It's taken them a little bit of a while here to get their legs, but boy, they were impressive tonight, winning at 124-107. And Franz Wagner is an elite talent. He's 6'10", moves like he's 6'2", and he scored 28 points.
Listen, OG Anunoby is one of the best defenders in the league, and Franz Wagner did whatever he wanted against him. He posted him up, got to the free throw line, used his size, used his athleticism. That was an elite matchup for me to watch. I said it in the pregame. The two wings, Bridges and Anunoby against Wagner and Banchero. And, you know, the way Wagner and Banchero played, those guys are the real deal. They came into MSG, and they were not scared. They were not afraid. They were not intimidated one bit. This team is, if they can stay healthy, they're going to be a force. Coach Mosley is a heck of a coach, too. He gets his guys to play defense and to play physical. They're going to be like the Detroit Pistons were last year in the playoffs. They're going to bang the Knicks. They're going to play physical with the Knicks. And the Knicks are going to have to be ready for teams to try to be physical with them, because as skilled as the Knicks are, they're a great three-point shooting team, skill at every position, elite players that are all-star caliber. You can get in their heads a little bit if you're a physical team. The Knicks have showed that. So the Knicks are going to have to show that they can deal with the physicality, and they're going to have to answer some questions about teams coming in here and trying to bang them around.
By the way, Wagner was tonight's drilling moment. brought to you by FanDuel Casino. Get your thrill on. Jalen Brunson, excellent game. Another 30-point night. Finished with 30. Last couple of minutes looked like he turned that right ankle. Took the free throws, limped right to the locker room. But overall, despite Brunson's solid game, the Knicks scored only 42 points in the first half. And remember, last night, they scored 42 points in the first quarter. But Brunson was excellent.
Yep, he was excellent. He was aggressive to start. He was getting fouled. It felt like every single possession. You know Jalen doesn't mind these kind of games. I mean, he's going to compete. He's going to go right at his opponents. I mean, he's got tough defenders all over him. Anthony Black and Jalen Suggs are elite perimeter defenders with a lot of size and a lot of strength and great athleticism. And they made Jalen make some really, really tough shots. I thought Jalen got lost in the competition of this game, which you love. Your captain just wanted to try to help will his team to a victory, and unfortunately, he kind of tweaked that ankle when he was selling out going to the basket at the end of the game. You got to only hope that he's going to be okay. You got to remember this is a marathon, not a sprint. Jalen Brunson hobbled at this point in the season is not a good thing, but you never know with Jalen. He knows his body very well, and if he can go, he will go on Friday.
Knicks host Miami on Friday, then they are at Miami on Monday. Let's take a look at how Brunson hurt that right ankle in the final stages of the game. Wally, take a look. We're not doctors, but it's obvious when you take a look at the right foot right there that he rolled it, and he took his free throws, and after that went right to the locker room. So,
yeah, that looks like a significant sprain, but you never know. You know, having sprained ankles many a times, once you sprain it once, those ligaments are gone, so it's just going to roll in a situation like that, and you hope there isn't too much swelling. The Miami Heat are coming in here. That team plays fast. That team runs up and down the floor. So Jalen needs to be really, really good to go. If he can go on Friday, we'll see what happens. But they got other guys that can step up. You know, Jordan Clarkson's dying for minutes. When he got in the game, he played hard. You know, it wasn't always. You know, it was semi-effective, but he's ready to go if his number's going to be called. Deuce McBride was solid. Knicks have Shamet playing great basketball. So we'll see what happens. I'm not a doctor, but the Knicks just got to regroup from this one and learn from this one and bounce back and get ready for a back-to-back against Miami.
9 turnovers for the Knicks in the first half. That's the worst first half they've had all year in terms of turnovers. Is that why they only scored 42 points in the first half? By far their lowest scoring half of the year.
One of the reasons, and it's all attributed to that Orlando Magic defense. I mean, they did not give the Knicks anything. They pressed up on every player. They did not allow the Knicks to go into those dribble handoffs and the fluidity with their offense moving the ball. They contested every pass to the wing, every pass to the corner, every dribble handoff. There was body contact, knocking the guy off the spot. And the Knicks are going to have to learn from that. A physical team is not going to let the Knicks just do whatever they want on the offensive end of the floor the way that they had been the whole entire homestand. They made the Knicks uncomfortable. The Knicks are going to have to get to counters, and they're going to have to adjust and watch this film and learn how to deal with teams that are going to try to knock them off their spots.
Orlando's got a lot of balance. They have an excellent bench.
I agree.
4 of the 5 starters in double figures. 2 of the bench players were in double figures. They had basically a contribution from everybody tonight.
You have Isaac coming off the bench, 7-footer, elite defender. Bataze. He is a nuisance to the Knicks. He seems to always catch someone in the nose or the face. And Anthony Black was a starter most of his career.
Got 17 tonight off the bench.
Right, and he is an outstanding perimeter defender. He's a lockdown defender when he's in the game. And when he knocks down some shots, he has good size, and he can give some contribution offensively. He's a difference maker. So this team is for real. This Magic team, that pickup by Desmond Bane, getting him in this lineup, he fits their culture perfectly with his strength and his he-needed shooting. This team is going to be a team to be reckoned with, I think, for the rest of the season in the East.
Bane was really struggling from downtown coming in, but went 3 for 6 with 22 points. Monica McNutt, as always, called the game on the radio on ESPN New York. Monica, what do you think about tonight's outcome?
Man, Wally, I heard you, but I literally said to Pat before I came downstairs I really don't love finishing games and being like, okay, are they good? Like, how good is this team compared to what the expectation is for the Knicks? Now, granted, the Magic are a team that last year they had a terrific defense. Yes, the offense was a little bit sluggish, but people knew about the pieces that they had. So considering that this was the second night of a back-to-back, I'm not alarmed by the outcome. But, guys, candidly, what I was a little bit perturbed by was I thought, and we've used this word before, y'all, the compete level in the first half. Some nights you might not shoot the ball well, which is fine. Some nights you might end up getting out-rebounded, as rare as it may be. It happens. But I didn't think that there was a level of focus that I thought this team needed to continue to make a statement early in the season here in this homestand to start the game.
I like that. You used that term the same way in the Chicago game. I remember, Monica, and I thought you were spot spot on. And listen, you can make an excuse that it's a back-to-back, that this Magic team was sitting on the Knicks watching film, preparing for this game. But at the same time, if you want to be an elite team, you have to be ready for a hungry team like this. Don't you think, Monica, to come into your building and try to get that win when the Knicks are 7-0?
100%, Wally. We're on the same page. And it took me back to a game last year. I can't remember what month we were in, where you end up looking at the roster and you go down the size. And yes, you know that the Magic have size at a number of positions. But I just thought, and it's kind of coincidental, because pregame, I asked Mike Brown, what are 3 things that you could give me, Mike, that would say this team is playing well? Because I know as media, we look at, okay, who was this versus and what is this team's record? And, of course, the coaching staff doesn't do that. But the last thing he said, y'all, when he got to defense, he said that we bring a level of physicality to the defensive side of the game without sending the other folks to the free throw line. Tonight, didn't think that physicality was necessarily there, and they allowed the Orlando Magic to shoot 28 of 33 from the free throw line. So not quite the formula you want to see for a successful game for the Knicks.
All right, Friday's game's on national TV. You can listen to Monica and Tyler Murray on the radio on ESPN New York. Monica, thanks as always for joining us with your perspective.
No problem.
Just about a wire-to-wire win for Orlando tonight over the Knicks, 124-107. So the Knicks have one more game left on the 7-game homestand. Miami is in town on Friday. It's a national TV game. You can listen to the game on the radio on ESPN New York. Next week, 3 road games for the Knicks. They're at Miami Monday, at Dallas Wednesday, and then at Orlando a week from Saturday. We're awaiting the post-game comments from Knicks coach Mike Brown. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back with more after this. Welcome back. Orlando tonight beats the Knicks 124-107. In each of the last 2 games before tonight, the Knicks had at least 40 points in the first quarter. Tonight they scored only 23 points in the first quarter, and they ended up with only 42 points in the first half. They didn't shoot the ball well in the first half. Was that because of selection, bad shooting, or Orlando's defense?
It was all Orlando's defense. They took the Knicks out of everything they wanted. The Knicks are starting to develop some film now. You know, we're 10 games into the season now, 11 games into the season. So teams are going to absorb what the Knicks are trying to do offensively. And the Knicks offense has been humming. It's been really good. But Orlando came up with a game plan how to take some of those things away from the Knicks. So now the next phase as a team and as a coaching staff is develop counters and to develop ways to attack a team that's going to take away your first options. And I think that's why this film will be very valuable, because it looked like the Orlando Magic were a step ahead of the Knicks with every cut, with every pass, and with every move they tried to make in that first half.
One of the reasons why people really think Orlando can make a run in the playoffs, the acquisition of Desmond Bane.
Yeah.
He's really struggled, but tonight, 3 of 6 from downtown, 22 points, and he also made his presence felt on defense.
Yeah, I know he struggled. He's on a new team, but that guy's an elite shooter in the NBA, and he's been that for his whole entire career. Coming over from Memphis, when Orlando picked him up, that really opened my eyes, because he is the perfect fit for this team. He's big, he's strong, and I know he struggled shooting the ball, but he is a top 10 3-point shooter, in my opinion, in the NBA. So over the course of 82 games, he's going to find his rhythm. He's going to find his way with his new team, and he's going to figure things out. That was a really good pickup by them. They needed outside shooting. He's going to secure that outside shooting, and he is a very good fit with this team. And this team, the way they played tonight, they looked scary good. And they could be a force to be reckoned with moving forward if they stay healthy in the East and in the playoffs.
Magic, in terms of points in the paint, it was really close overall when you look at the final numbers, but not in the first half. The Magic dominated the game overall on the boards, and specifically first half in the paint. Which is rare against the Knicks. And I just think it was a wake-up call for the Knicks. It really was. I mean, the Knicks have been steamrolling teams. You know, they've played not the best teams. Memphis struggling, Brooklyn struggling, and the wins came easy. And when they got pushed, when they got pressed, and when they got banged around, I think the Knicks have to be reminded that to win games in this league, it's not always going to be easy. You're going to have to grind. You're going to have to play physical. You're going to get knocked on your backside sometimes. And Orlando's the type of team that's not afraid to put you on your backside when you go to the basket. And this team was very focused. I think they were a team on a mission. I think Coach Mosley had them motivated to say the Knicks are 7-0 at home.
enough. We want to get this win. We want to end that home win streak. And they came in here and did anything and everything they wanted to get to hand the Knicks the first loss here at the world's most famous arena this season.
You mentioned Paolo Banchero didn't play in the second half because of a bad groin. You go back to last year. Banchero missed a lot of time with an abductor injury.
Yep.
Franz Wagner missed time with an abductor injury. Mo Wagner, his brother, tore his ACL in the middle of the season. Jalen Suggs hurt his knee, missed most of the playoffs, if not all the playoffs. If they were healthy last year without Desmond Bane, a lot of people thought they could have made some noise.
No question. I think they could have too. But when you play at that intensity level, which they do, and that physicality, which they do, they put their bodies on the line every single play, every single game on a nightly basis. You're prone to pick up some injuries like they did last season. Now let's see if they can sustain this type of physical play the way they played tonight. They are a young team. They're an athletic team, and they're a team that's starting to find themselves. So they're going to have to manage some things, but they are deep, too. They have guys coming off the bench. Tristan Da Silva, he got minutes last year when Banchero was out and Franz Wagner was out, and he showed he's a viable NBA player that can really do some damage off the bench, and he played well also today. So this team is built well. You know, they've been built through the draft, and they're starting to really find their way. And, you know, everyone is saying the Knicks, you know, the East is going to be down. Yes, it's going to be down, but there are some teams that are going to elevate because they're competitors.
All right, Knicks have played 11 games. For the 10th time in 11 games, Karl Anthony Towns had a double-double.
Yeah.
15 points, 12 rebounds.
Oh, you can just almost put that in pen every single night. You know, what he's got to do to man the middle. He always does it. You know, teams came after, the Magic came after him tonight. They wanted to make him work physically. They know how skilled he is. And, you know, that's how skilled players are going to have to deal with defenders. Defenders are going to try to get in your head. They're going to try to knock you off your spots. They're going to try to make you uncomfortable because they know how skilled you are and how fluid and how you can get things done at a high level, especially offensively. So Big Cat is going to have to be ready for that. I thought he handled the physicality pretty well, and he's going to have to be ready for more of that to come because that's the recipe to try to stop a big-time superstar.
Leads the NBA in double-doubles with those 10.
There you go.
Back now from the Corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. Let us now listen into the post-game comments from Knicks coach Mike Brown, as always, presented by Chase.
I thought in the first half, we didn't do, first of all, you got to give them credit. Jamal Mosley and the rest of Orlando Magic, they kicked our ass. This is as simple as that. They came out with a physical presence that we didn't handle well. We talked about them getting to the free throw line. They've done a really, really good job at it. They've been averaging around 34 free throws a game, and they basically hit their average. On top of that, you know, against a good team, you have to win the possession game in order to give yourself a chance to win the game. And we got our ass kicked in that, 30-19. Basically, that's about free throw attempts plus offensive rebounds minus turnovers. So give those guys a lot of credit. Now, we were a little better in those areas in the second half, but when you dig a hole like we did in the first half, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to come back and win the game. But there are a lot of things that, for me, watching the game, were first time for us. One of them is we had 10 offensive rebounds. Now, again, you got to give Orlando a lot of credit because they were really good on the glass, but just watching the game or thinking back on the game, we didn't crash. We didn't crash. Shot went up, and everybody just watched and then jogged back. And even though we watched and jogged back, they still, based on the way that we charted, they still scored 33 fast break points against us for the game. So we didn't crash. We had 10 offensive rebounds, nor did we get back in transition. We also had 11 sprays for the game. That's a season low. 11 sprays. And we have to be better in that area. But the thing that I was most disappointed in was in the first half, everything that happened on the court, we blamed the officials. And that was disappointing to see because we were the culprits of a lot of stuff that happened out on the floor. 6 of their first 8 points came from the free throw line, and we fouled them. I couldn't even use a challenge because we were fouling.
More from Mike Brown coming up. Always very candid, being very candid tonight in the aftermath of his team's loss to the Magic. More from Mike Brown coming up.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Orlando beats the Knicks tonight 124-107. Let's now listen into more of Mike Brown's postgame comments.
Like you saw Jalen at the end of the game, he walked off with about 2 minutes to go. It seems like he was limping a little bit. Do you know anything about that or his ankle?
I think he turned his right ankle. Yeah, he turned his right ankle, but that's all I know.
Mike, you mentioned before the game about they were going to be physical.
Yeah.
It looked like they did. Did you guys feel like you guys didn't respond well to that?
We didn't respond well until the second half. You know, I mean, they scored 50 points in the paint. They had 33 free throws. In the first half, they had 9 offensive rebounds. 9. And, you know, we did not respond well. Our response, which, you know, I don't like, was to go at the referees. And I personally think it doesn't matter how the game is being called. If we're locked in and we're playing like we're capable of, we don't need to rely on the officials making this call or that call. And so our focus in that area was not where it should have been.
Coach, you guys had 5 turnovers, 1 assist in the first quarter, and they were physical, as you mentioned. Did that take away your spacing, or your spacing just looked to be off in that first quarter?
Yeah, you know, our spacing, I guess problems, in my opinion, started last night. That was one of the things that we talked about in the second half last night of our game. We didn't do a great job spacing the floor. And, you know, a lot of times when we start our cuts, the cuts would be slow. And, you know, I don't know, you know, what it was, but our guys would stop in the paint instead of making an extra effort to respace like we've been doing. And it was no different tonight. I thought our spacing wasn't good. I thought our ability to handle the basketball while getting bumped wasn't good, you know. And did it get better in the second half? Yes, it did. But again, you dig yourself a hole like that, it's going to be a long night.
When you mentioned about not giving the extra effort or not crashing the boards, do you attribute that at all to the second day of back-to-back? Do you feel like they came out flat? Maybe that was
No, you know, we're a no-excuse team. And if we're a no-excuse team, we got to go play the right way as best we can and not lay the blame anyplace else except square on us. So it doesn't matter if we play 3 games in a row. We got to go figure it out. And if we can't, maybe I need to go deeper into the bench and play guys lesser minutes. You know, maybe that's where I can help them, but we can't sit here and say, well, we played last night and they did this. No, go win the game, play the right way, leave it on the floor. And if you leave it on the floor the right way, you're not going to win them all. Then you take an L. Move on to the next one. I just didn't think that we did a great job doing what we're supposed to do to set the tone, especially at the beginning of the game.
Mike, kind of with that, please correct me if I'm wrong. It felt like in the first half they were able to get to Jalen, Deuce, and Jordan on their bigger wings, on their bigger men in the post. Were you seeing like cross matches there? Was that something they were doing? Was that something just that you're talking about having to get that in transition and just man mark? Like, what did you see with some of the mismatches there that they were able to get points underneath and some of the fouls as well?
Yeah, no, that's great. Cause some of it was in transition.
Yeah.
You know, when you play fast, that's the whole gist of playing fast. That's why we want play fast, get the ball out quick, because what happens is teams don't have a chance to set their defense. They just have rules that they got to go by. And last night, we didn't follow our rules, and that's why they get all those layups in transition. Tonight, we did a better job following our rules. Give them credit with that. But what that does, sometimes it puts a small guy on a bigger guy. And when that happened, our smaller guys did not do their work early. And what I mean by that is they let the bigger guy walk them or run them all the way down to the dots or charge line, and then we try to start fighting. And one of our main rules is if you're guarding a bigger guy, you got to stand them up at least at the top of the key. We didn't do that. And so you got to do your work early in those situations. And then if he does catch down there, all bets are off. We got to collapse. And we just turn and watch, catch, and shoot over the top of us. So there's some areas that we can clean up. We cleaned up them to a certain degree in transition from last night, but we could still be better. The second area is the pick and roll. We were getting cracked on the pick and roll or the DHO because we weren't up into the ball. And so our big ended up taking the ball, and they ended up rolling us to the post, and we didn't do a good job of recognizing it and trying to butt switch as they rolled the small down to the post.
Mike,
Post-game comments from Knicks coach Mike Brown. Knicks go down 124-107. We're going to hear from Karl Anthony Towns when we come back after this. Karl Anthony Towns tonight, 15-12, and the Knicks lost to Orlando. Here's Cat after the game with Alan Hahn.
Is it as simple sometimes as just saying back-to-back, that team had just more energy than you from the start of the game, or were there other issues tonight?
I mean, we just didn't do a lot of the things that made us special last winning streak. You know, they give them credit. They came in with a game plan, they executed it, and we didn't execute ours. And, you know, we tried to pull that magic from last year in the fourth quarter. It just wasn't enough today, you know. Give it credit to them. They did what they needed to do to win.
Is it also when the threes don't go down, it puts a lot more pressure on the defense? We've talked so much about this team's developing offensively, but are there still more ways to go defensively?
Yeah, there's more development that needs to happen, obviously. And like you said, you know, when we're shooting the three ball well, you know, that's, you know, you're seeing those 140s, 130s, you know, something that is, you know, helped us tremendously score more points. You know, but on top of that, you know, we were great in getting stops and turnovers turning into points, and doing a great job of pushing pace. I just didn't think we did that well tonight. And on top of that, we didn't shoot three ball well. So we were not shooting the three ball well, and the system is going to be tough, you know, to get to that 140, that 130 like usual that you've been seeing recently.
Knicks win 11-36 from downtown. So Friday night, they're going to play host to the Heat. That's a national TV game. Our next Knicks game here on MSG is Monday when the Knicks are on the road to take on Miami. They'll be at the Heat. We're on the air at 7 with a pregame show Monday night. Tip-off at 7:30. And also stream our coverage on the Gotham Sports App. Want more than just a postgame show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports App. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.